Good afternoon, happy Sunday. No, I've not got a cold, it's my allergies again, once again. So I do apologise if I start snuffling, coughing, sneezing, or my eyes start to run. I have allergies when other people don't have allergies. My GP says I must be allergic to tree pollen. I've taken my antihistamines, etc., and I don't like honey. So I can't take the honey of the locality because it's too sweet for me. Anyway, this is going to be a slightly different video. You've watched one before. So if you're expecting a crochet video, then sorry, I'm going to disappoint you. But the next one will be crochet inclined, so if you want to switch off, that's fine. I think I mentioned once before when I did another video that I joined a group. It was supposed to be on Instagram called Meet the Maker. And it was virtually, you had to put a photograph and a description of like what made you tick, what you use, what you made, whatever. My Instagram is slower than slow, and it doesn't want to play ball, and when I try to put photographs on it, it just gives up the ghost completely. So I decided I'd do mine with videos. So this is Meet the Maker part 2, and I'm going to do to the end of the month, so therefore you're not going to get part 3 if you know what I'm saying, unless of course I run out of space and time. But the good news is I have ordered a bigger memory card for this camera, so hopefully when it arrives and it fits, you know, I'm a bit of a Dumbo when it comes to ordering things. It did say it would fit my camera, so hopefully. And it's got more memory on it, because when I run out of time, it's not my battery, it's actually the memory. And with going to Woolfest in June, I thought, well, I want more memory. I want to be able to take more photographs, I want to do more videos, etc. So I've ordered a bigger memory card. But for now, you have to put up with me going zing! And for those of you with very keen hearing, it's my timer that you can hear ticking. And if you've got very keen hearing, you'll also hear that my washing machine is working in the kitchen, but it's sad. So I'm all of a kerfuffle today because I had a really wonderful conversation with friends in the US last night, and we were chattering and chattering and chattering, and it was 4 o'clock in the morning. But of course it wasn't, because it was 5 o'clock in the morning, because our clocks went forward. So that threw me out. Anyway, here we go. Right, Meet the Maker part 2. 12, postage and packaging. That is a really iffy subject for me. I nearly always finish up undercharging on the postage, even though it sounds a lot of money to me, because I like to post tracked and signed for, because of problems that have happened to me in the past that have left me a bit wary about just sending things as is. Yeah, you know, I put a lot of time, work and effort into the things I make, and when people say they haven't received them, you know, it's, you know what I mean. But since I've been doing it tracked and signed for, funnily enough, I haven't lost any packages since then. Touch wood. 13, it says work clothes. So I presume this means people who maybe do pottery or something like that, that may get messy with what they're doing. With me, I don't get messy. I just wear whatever I choose to be wearing that day, so I don't really have work clothes. 14, dreams and plans. Now I think I covered this on the last video I did. And of course my dreams and plans are always, you know, to have a little niche in some kind of a boutique where I could display even just one of my items, like a shawl or something. Or I would love to have, you know, a catwalk with models, you know, but they're all just pipe dreams, because they won't happen. Because you know, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to find this wonderful photographer, models who are willing to model for me, who are going to walk down a catwalk. I don't have the kind of money to put on these kind of things, so whatever. 15 was labelled boomerang, and I don't really understand what that means, so I think we'll just pass on that one. 16, helper. Well, I do have a helper, as you know. I've got Sue, who does, she doesn't do a lot of crocheting, but she is listed as my other part on my Urban Gypsy Crochet on the Etsy, because she does make pram blankets and shawls and things occasionally, and they are for sale. So she is technically part of me, part of Urban Gypsy Crochet, if you know what I mean. Number 17 is customers and feedback. Well, I'm very, very lucky. I've got some loyal customers, and I do get some lovely feedback, which gives me the confidence to know that my crochet's up to scratch, you know what I mean, that people don't get it and think, this is a pile of rubbish, you know. I have been very lucky in the feedback that I've got from people. Don't always get feedback, because people leave feedback if they feel like leaving feedback, don't they? But a lot of the people have left me feedback on Etsy, and I'm very grateful for it, because it means a lot to me when people like my things. Yeah. 18, inspiration. My inspiration comes from lots of different places. It comes from what's in the shops. It comes from patterns that I might see on Ravelry, on Pinterest, on other people's videos. Now, when I say that, other people's videos, I don't want to copy things that other people have done, but I might use their inspiration to make something similar but adapted by me, if you know what I mean. Put my own spin on things, let's just say that. So that's where I kind of get my inspiration from. A lot of it comes from my past, you know, thinking about things that used to be fashionable or used to be worn, because retro is coming back in again. So when I'm raking things up from the past, a lot of it is kind of in tune with my boho gypsy kind of roots, with what I want to. I don't mean I'm a gypsy, by the way. I just mean gypsy style clothing roots. Not that I've got anything against gypsies, but I'm not an actual gypsy. I wouldn't claim to be one. A Romany gypsy, that's not. I just like the Stevie Nicks style of clothing, etc, etc. You know, the gypsy skirts and gypsy top things. So that's where I get a lot of my inspiration. 19, can't live without. Well, that's pretty obvious with me, isn't it? I can't live without my yarn, I can't live without my crochet, I can't live without my everything, yeah. So that's what I can't live without. Oh, of course, coffee. Zoe 24 Carat Crochet and I have this thing about we have to have quite a lot of coffee. It might be a little bit too much caffeine at times, mightn't it, Zoe? But we know we do like our coffee. Excuse me. Number 20 is tools and materials. Well, materials for me would be, I like lots of different styles of yarn. I don't just like one particular yarn. I like different textures, different shades, different whatever. Things that inspire me, you know. If colours are just bland and plain, unless I'm doing something that's got a wonderful pattern to it, they don't inspire me. You know, to go into a shop and just see loads and loads of just plain, ordinary, bog standard yarn would not inspire me at all, unless I was doing something intricate that needed a plain colour, but that wouldn't inspire me. As far as tools are concerned, excuse me, sorry about this, I do like my Susan Bates hooks. But having said that, you know, I use a lot of the aluminium hooks, and I used to like a lot of aero hooks. I kind of choose a hook with whatever yarn I'm using. I've got several different styles of hooks in each size, because that is the way I roll. If I'm using one hook and it's snagging a bit or it's dragging a bit and it's not working, I'll go through my other hooks in the same size and see which one is more suited to that yarn. Sometimes it will be a plastic hook, sometimes it will be one with a comfort handle. It depends what feels right to me when I'm actually crocheting, but I do prefer the Susan Bates style of the hook top. I don't like the bulbous big fat sort of tops, because it doesn't suit the way I crochet. But I'm not saying anybody should use, I'm just saying experiment, find the kind of hook that suits the way you crochet, and once you find that, then, you know, I mean, I've worked with some really, really expensive hooks, but they haven't been right for me, for the way I crochet, you know, the ones with the bobble shaped handles and, you know, that people rave about and that, and I've tried different styles, tried different ones, but you just go back, don't you, to what you're comfortable with. And as I say, not right for everybody. Find the hook that's comfortable for you. It might be the cheapest possible hook in the world, but if it suits you, don't be swayed by people who say you've got to buy this hook, that hook, the other hook that might cost $20 or something like that. No, just stick with what you like. That's my attitude anyway. But I'm not averse to change. I will try different things. Right, 21 is the story, A Day in the Life of. Well, it's a bit difficult for me to do that one because I don't like have a set routine. I don't go to work in a studio or whatever. I mean, I'm fortunate in the fact that I don't have to earn my living with my crochet. I can survive just about, breadline wise we're talking, but I can survive on my pension and the little bit of disability money and things that I get. I can survive. It does buy my bread and butter, does pay my household bills. My crocheting is my little bits of extras, you know, that would just to let me buy more yarn and buy more things. So a day in my life is as it rolls, really. I can get up some days and feel terribly productive and work on my crochet from getting up to going to bed. Other days I flit about like a butterfly, intending to do things. I wish I could be more organised and say, right, from such an hour to such an hour I will sit and do crochet. In the morning perhaps I'll do my chores. I just wish I could organise myself more. That's my wish. But I suppose if I was earning my living, you know, and that was my only source of income, I would be more organised. But there we go. Number 22, sketchbooks and lists. I'm a great one for lists. If I think of things that, oh, I think that would be good to make a few of those to sell. I think that style would be great. Sketchbooks, yes, I'm always drawing things out because I make a lot of things up, as you know. I wouldn't say I make a lot of patterns up altogether from scratch, but I would look at a pattern and think, don't quite like that. I could adapt that. I would put this there and that there and put different sleeves in it, you know. So I've always got a sketch pad. I've always got a pen and pencil. I used to have paper and that by the side of the bed because, funnily enough, I get a lot of my inspiration just as I'm falling asleep. It's infuriating at times because it keeps me from sleeping. Because by the morning, of course, I've forgotten this wonderful idea that I'd had just before I was falling asleep. But I did find that doing that meant that I overstimulated my brain, and the fact if I started sketching and that before I went to sleep, I just wouldn't get to sleep at all. I'd have ideas jumping in my mind, and it affected my sleep pattern. So 23, hands at work. I think, you see, you're supposed to post a picture on Instagram of your hands working. So I'll just leave that to your imagination. My hands do work, but they usually crochet. But I'll leave that bit. 24, achievements. I like to think I've achieved quite a bit in my life, craft-wise. I'm not talking about all the rest of the stuff. You don't want to hear all the boring stuff about where I was working, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, quite pleased with myself sometimes for my achievements. When I make something that I think, well, you've done a really good job on that one. I know you shouldn't blow your own trumpet, but if you're a crafter, you know you can churn out something that you think is passable, it's okay, people say they like it. And then you churn out one garment and you think, now I've really excelled myself with that. That is really fantastic, really great. So I have, in my span of crochet, done a few things that I've looked at and thought, well done, you know. That looks really, I'm really pleased with that, you know. As I say, you're not supposed to blow your own trumpet, but there are, you must have had it, you know, occasions when you've made one thing and you think, I've really excelled myself with that. So yes, there has been quite a few things. I'm not going to list achievements because you've all seen what I make when on my videos and that, so you can all make your mind up whether you think that's an achievement or a so-so crochet, you know. But I have done quite a few achievements, yeah. Number 25 is what being a maker means to me. It means a lot to me. It means that instead of being a retired person sitting twiddling my thumbs, bored to death, there's a lot of old people like that, and quite frankly a lot of them make me annoyed because I'm like, do something, don't just sit there. I don't mean they need to crochet or they need to knit, but find something to do. Don't just sit on your bottom watching TV going, I'm so bored, yeah. So that's what being a maker means to me. It means that my brain is always active. I'm hoping I'm guarding against things like, you know, dementia, and I know you can't prevent dementia and Alzheimer's, but I believe that by keeping my brain active, I'm trying my best to guard against getting these things. I know it's not possible, but that's my spin on things, so that's the way I'm trying to talk myself into. I'm helping myself to prevent getting something like dementia, because my dad had that and it's a terrible disease to have. So I think keeping crocheting, when you're knitting, you're crocheting, you're counting, you're doing patterns, you're keeping your brain active. So that's what being a maker means to me. It means occupying my mind and my fingers successfully, creating something. That's what it means to me, being a maker. It's a sense of, like you say, a sense of achievement. When you finish something, it's a wow, I didn't think I was going to make that one, or that pattern was a bit tricky. You know, it's a sense of achievement, and I think that's wonderful. Yeah. 26 is books, blogs and podcasts. Well, you all know I'm an avid collector of books, magazines, patterns. I couldn't even start to crochet up a tenth of what I've got in my collection. But I just like having them as points of reference, and I do like to look through them. And if ever I'm stuck for inspiration, you know, we all get these blocks, don't we? I always say I've lost my crojo. We always get these blocks and we don't know what to do. I will sit happily for hours going through my books, going through my magazines, and hopefully that it jogs me into, oh, I do like that, I would like to make that, you know. So I do keep an awful lot of crochet magazines. I do show, you know, a lot of them on my videos, because that's my weakness really. That's what I spend a lot of my money on, is books, as well as the yarn, of course. But I always think a lot of people who watch my videos may not be in a financial position that they can just get the books when they see them, and they maybe want to look at inside of them to see whether or not there's something that they would be interested in. So if I can let people have a look through, and I mean, it usually works quite well, because a lot of people say, wow, you know, we really like that book, we've ordered it, you know. And to me that's great, because it means that they're spending their money on something that they really want, not something that they might like something in it, yeah. I mean, I've been quite blunt. I mean, I never get paid for any of these sponsors. I buy every book. I buy every book, every magazine, I buy it myself. I don't get any freebie copies of anything. So I can therefore give my honest opinion, because I've bought them with my own money. And so therefore I feel as though I can honestly tell you, you know, well, this book's not got anything in it for me. But that doesn't mean it's not got anything for you, because it might have lots of amigurumis and stuff like that that you like to make, which I hate, but you know, not to hate amigurumis. I love them. I love cute things. I love cute animals. I love looking at them when people make them. I just don't want to make them yet. Right. Excuse me. The 27 I'm not going to answer, because it says recommend a maker. I have so many people that I admire that make things. So many people who do videos showing how to do things, that I wouldn't even attempt to single a person out, because that's just not right. You know, it makes all the other people that I watch and friendly with and everything like that feel, oh God, she doesn't like me, you know. So the one thing I will not do is I will not recommend one particular maker. There's a lot of people who make lovely things that I really admire. So I'm not going to single one person out, so I hope you'd excuse me on that one. 28, which makes me smile, is organised. That is my goal. That is what I would love to be, organised. Organised where I put my things in a certain place. Organised in the fact that my yarn is stored in a certain place. My craft room was beautifully done, but of course I've got overspill, and my overspill has now landed up in boxes and stuff on the floor. So I would dread to let you look in there at the minute until I get in there and sort it all out. Organised as far as my crochet is, I am fairly organised with that, in the fact that I'm not a person who has, you know, like 27 works in progress. That's not me. Once a thing gets put to one side, I'm afraid it gets kind of forgotten. So the maximum amount of things I will work on at one time is maybe 2 or 3. I do prefer to work on one start to finish. Maybe that sounds pretty boring to the ones of you who thrive on having startitis, as they call it, you know, where they keep starting different things and that. No, if I've put something down, it might as well not be a work in progress. It might be on the unravel pile, you know, because it's just not going to get done, yeah. 29 community. Well, I'm quite, I'm going to say favoured. No, I'm not. That's not the word I'm looking for. I'm quite happy, good. What's the word I'm looking for? Fortunate. That's the word I'm looking for. I'm quite fortunate in the fact that I have a very strong community around me. I don't mean personally around me. I don't mean face to face around me. But I do have a wonderful community of people that I call my friends, even though I may never see them. We only ever converse over, you know, the media. But I call them my community, and they're rock solid, and they're my friends, and you know, they're there to encourage me, they're there to support me. YouTube has been a wonderful thing for that. I've made many friends who I will never meet, never even see a photograph of, but they're there every time I make a video. They'll support me, they'll say well done, or we like this, or we like that. I mean, I don't even mind if people say, you know, we can hear this, or can you turn that down, or something like that. I do try to be accommodating, but there are some things in my household that I can't change. But I thank everybody for your support, your strength. It gives me, as a person who's retired, who lives alone, occasionally has the company of like Gigi, occasionally has the company of Sue or something like that. Kelly, of course, Christina, but they don't like live near me. They're not popping in every day for a cup of coffee or anything like that. So a community, or even an online community, means the world to me, because it is supportive. It's just like I'm not on my own. I've got all the strength of all these people around me. So thank you all for your help and support. Number 30 is a top tip and advice. Well, I did one of these a long time ago. My top tip is listen to yourself. Don't listen to other people who tell you you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong, you're not doing the stitch right, you're not using the right hook, you're doing it wrong. Don't listen to them. My top tip is, as Karen Kazalistic would say, stay true to yourself. If you want to make a certain item and that's what you only want to make it. You know, don't let people be judgmental and say, oh, aren't you going to move on from making a blanket? Aren't you going to move on from doing it? No. Making blankets makes you happy. Do it. Yeah, that's my top tip. Do what you feel comfortable with. Do what gives you enjoyment. Because to me, even though crocheting is sort of a part-time job, really, hopefully, you know, when you sell things on Etsy, it's a bit of a part-time job. I still only want to make things that give me enjoyment and pleasure when I'm making them. I would hate to be in a position where somebody would order like 29 of this or 29 of that or 30 of this or 2 dozen of that, because that would take the enjoyment out of it for me. So that's my top tip, is be true to yourself, as Karen would say, and just make what you get enjoyment out of. Yeah. And that really is my advice as well. And my advice is also, don't listen to people who say you shouldn't use acrylic, you shouldn't use this, Why don't you buy this? Hand-dyed yarn is wonderful. No, no, no. Don't listen. Don't listen to them. I won't say they're being snobby, but because they're not being snobby in their eyes, they are using what they like to use. They like to use hand-dyed yarns and they can afford the hand-dyed yarns. Fine. I don't quarrel with that. But they're also, if you're on a budget and you go to the, I don't know, the charity shops, the thrift shops and that, and you pick up yarn from here, there and everywhere, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all wrong with that. I hunt for bargains online because I'm on a budget, like most of you probably on the other side of this camera. And I just object to people who think that they're in the right to tell you you should use tip-top yarn or you should use this and you should use that. Rubbish. My advice to you is whatever you want to use, whatever you feel happy using. If you want to use the lower end of acrylic, there is nothing wrong with it. Loads of the lower priced acrylic are fantastic washing. There's nothing wrong with it. Nothing at all. It's just whatever you want to use. If you can afford to pay, only afford to pay $1 for something in the thrift shop, fine. I am never going to be one who criticises you for that, because I do it myself, yeah? So that's my top tip and my advice. Use whatever hook you feel like. Whatever you're comfortable with, use it. Use whatever yarn you feel comfortable with, whatever's within your budget, use it. Whatever you're happy making, make it. Doesn't matter if people say, oh, what are you making that for? Make it. That's my advice and my top tips. I don't tell you anything apart from that. The only thing I would say is sometimes it's good to go out your comfort zone. Try a pattern stitch that you've not tried before. Yeah? It's good to go out your comfort zone. Or like me, to learn more stitches in Tunisian, because that to me is going out my comfort zone. I can do basic stitches in Tunisian, but I've never made anything. Never actually made even a scarf, shawl, anything. So that would be me going out my comfort zone, would be to learn something about Tunisian. Well, the last one is 31, is actually I think what I have covered, which is Creative Friends. As you both know, I'm very lucky to have Sue, who is my inspiration, my person I chat to. She's my best creative friend in person. I've also got Kelly, who visits, and Christina, who visits, who are my creative friends as well. But I have got hundreds of creative friends who I call my friends, that I talk to online, I chat to via my Urban Gypsy page, via my Google, when I go on a hangout, things like that. I call those my creative friends because they inspire. People I watch on video. I may never know them, they only know me as a person who makes a comment every now and again. But when I watch their videos, they inspire me. They're making something, they're doing something, and they're so... When I'm in a slump, you know, and you turn on the YouTube and you see somebody happily crocheting away there, and you may not want to make what they're making. You may not want to do it. But you sit and you watch it because you think, they are so inspired and they're so fired up with what they're doing. They are what I call my creative friends. They revive my creative juices when I'm having a slump, because we all go through slumps, don't we? I've been going through a bit of a slump, as you know, because I'm still trying to make the linings for these bags. I mean, Sue and I have got as far as choosing which lining goes with which bag. And if I hadn't have got up so very, very late today, I was going to actually do something, but because I was up till 5 o'clock this morning, I'm afraid I slept through. In fact, I slept through so much that my niece actually called early on this morning, couldn't get an answer, was quite worried in case I'd, you know, I won't say passed away, but you know what I mean. She thought I was laying on the floor somewhere and had a fall, because I'm prone to do that. So she actually sent me a text message, you know, what's wrong with you, you know. Nothing, I'm just in bed, I'm just asleep. I mean, I was quite annoyed with myself actually, because I'd slept so long. But that is by the by. I did get my 8 hours, it's just not when everybody else got their 8 hours. My conventional ones I'm a night owl. This is another thing that I should have copied under organised. I'm a night owl. I will happily stay up till 2 o'clock if I'm inspired with what I'm crocheting or whatever. I'm just happily watching YouTube videos and crocheting away, and I look at the clock and I think, oh blimey, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. So that's when I get cross with myself sometimes, but I can't help it, it's just my body clock. You know, when other people are going to bed at 10 o'clock in the evening or maybe midnight, I can go to bed at 10 o'clock and midnight and then I'm like watching the clock go around because I'm absolutely wide awake. I've tried all the things, you know, counting back from 100 backwards, like, and somebody said, oh, that's guaranteed to make you go to sleep. Well, after you've done it about 3 or 4 times, you think I'm getting fed up of counting now. Sheep don't appeal to me. I don't count sheep, you know. I do the relaxation techniques, you know, where you tighten your muscle, let it go loose, tighten, let it go loose. That's from my days of yoga when that was supposed to guarantee to relax you. Nope. Then I start thinking about crochet projects and things like that, and then my mind goes even more active because I can't turn off then, I can't switch off. I've tried not going on social media, you know, trying to relax, not watching the TV or something like that, trying to wind down, having the milky drinks, having everything, you know. If I'm not in the mood to sleep, I'm not in the mood to sleep. So anyway, I hope you enjoy learning a little bit more about me. I'll be back to normal, doing my normal crochet videos, of course. Sue has said she'll try to come down this coming week. Because she's definitely going, I think she's definitely going away at Easter for a couple of days, I don't know. She's got something planned for Easter, I think, anyway. I've got my lovely Gigi for Easter. So I've got my little friend, so that will be a happy time for me. I love having my little furry buddy. Don't get as much crocheting done as I have planned, but he's a lovely distraction, as you know, so I do love my Gigi. Well, it's not my Gigi, but you know what I mean. Oh, sorry for that. My allergies are playing up once again, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to go now, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your, well, your weekend may be over by the time this video goes up. So I hope you enjoy next week. If you're working, poor you. If you're not working, you're just looking after the kids and that, really poor you, because that's more than a job. That's a job and a half, looking after the kids. I've done my stint. I only had the one. Not by choice, but I only had the one child, but let's just say he had a lot of friends who liked to come and visit me, so I felt like I had more than one child many occasions. And I took it as a compliment that they actually liked to visit, you know. I think it's a compliment when people say things like, oh God, we wish my mum was all like you, you know, you're so easygoing. Which I was more, I suppose I wasn't as strict as some parents were. Although I was strict with manners and things like that. But I wasn't as strict with them making a bit of a mess, you know, when they were playing and that. Because you can always tidy up, can't you? What the heck, you know. Kids are kids. Kids' mess doesn't faze me at all. My mess is getting to me. My creative mess, which is now come down from the craft room and it's now drifting its way down. This is where I wish I was more organised. Because at times I look round and it looks like I've been burgled, you know, because that's just the way I roll. But I can't be creative with just like one ball of yarn, one crochet hook, one pattern. I can't be creative with that. I have to be surrounded by colour, inspiration, balls of yarn, things that, you know, assault my senses, things like that. So that's what it is. Anyway, I hope I haven't bored you. I'm going to go now because it's now way past tea time in time, but it's not way past tea time in my body clock. So, I'll eat when I'm ready. Bye for now. Hope you've enjoyed the video.